still the intro. My name is Sia Sangweni. Welcome to the Junior Achievement South Africa Global Entrepreneurship Week live stream. There's so much to unpack in this next hour that you and I have together, and I'm so glad that you can join us. On behalf of Junior Achievement South Africa, thank you for making the time, and we're looking forward to engaging with you in this pivotal conversation. It's Entrepreneurship Week, Global Entrepreneurship Week. What does that mean? What does entrepreneurship mean? How can you make money, and how can you and I both partner up and change this country for the better? That's exactly what this live stream is all about. It's about sharing, it's about learning from one another, and we're looking forward to doing so much of that and so much more over the next hour. So you have a lot to look forward to. I'll be joined by members of the Junior Achievement South Africa organization to find out exactly, as a youth organization, what do they do and why do they prioritize work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy, how you can be part of some of their life-changing and pivotal programs. And more than that, we'll also be joined by entrepreneurs themselves who are from different kinds of fields, and this is where we can learn from them one-on-one. So do you have any questions? What would you like to know? What do you want to be one day? And this is the opportunity for you to learn about all of that and so much more. Get ready to interact with us. Please do. We absolutely appreciate wherever you're joining us from. And actually, we'd like to know where you're joining us from. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments section, and also tag us wherever you are and let us know what you are learning from this conversation. And as we've promised, there might be a few little gems that you can walk away with as a fantastic gift. So let us do it. Without any further ado, we are looking forward to keeping you entertained and inspired for the next hour. So let's get into it. As we say, we're talking about all things Global Entrepreneurship Week, and as a representative of the Junior Achievement South Africa team, I'm very thrilled to not be having this conversation alone, but rather being spearheaded by the fearless leader, the Executive Director of Junior Achievement South Africa, Ms. Nelo Phindile-Sfisi. Ms. Nelo, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
It's a fantastic, we won't just say it's a fantastic day, but rather fantastic week as we celebrate global entrepreneurship. What are you looking forward to in this conversation today?
Firstly, welcome to everybody who's joining us online. A special welcome to the teachers, the learners, and the young entrepreneurs who've taken time to join us today and learn a thing or two out of this conversation. What I would like to see come out today is young people getting some knowledge and a sharing experience of what entrepreneurship has been to them. Mm-hmm. And we as Junior Achievement sharing what we do to uplift young people so that they can look at entrepreneurship as an opportunity, as a career in the future.
Absolutely. So let's just start with a bit of an explanation or description of who and what Junior Achievement South Africa is. I've already highlighted work readiness, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, but from your seat, what do you enjoy about your role and the work that the organization does?
Okay. I enjoy working with young people.
Yes.
I enjoy seeing the spark that comes into young people's minds when they realize that they are innovators, they are creative, they are brilliant. That absolutely gives me the kick.
Yes.
But what we do as Junior Achievement is we're a youth development organization that really works on three pillars, which is work readiness, as you've said, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. Our core strength is entrepreneurship education, experiential entrepreneurship education. We teach young people entrepreneurship by doing. They must engage on starting a business, on ideating about a business, on even at a primary school level, just thinking how they can make pocket money for themselves. So in terms of work readiness, we start engaging young people on how to present themselves, on how to create their CVs, and on what career opportunities are actually out there. We actually have a program that actually assists them to write a test and see what their personalities are and what careers they align to. We also work with out-of-school youth, where we work with them to either start an actual business or to just ignite that entrepreneurial spirit in them so that they can see that they don't have to wait for somebody to give them a job. They can create jobs, not just for themselves, but for everybody around them.
You know, we hear a lot about entrepreneurship, and we have to admit it sounds so fancy to say, I'm an entrepreneur.
It does.
But I don't think we realize just how much amazing entrepreneurship exists around us. I thought, we have a very conventional family at home. But when I think about it, I'm like, wait a minute, no. My cousin drives kids from school, picks them up, takes them back home. That's an entrepreneur. He doesn't have an office, but that's an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
I look at, as much as my aunt might work Monday to Friday, but then over the weekends, she'll open the doors to her house and then she'll sell scones. And then she'll bake amagwinya. That's an entrepreneur. What's
Yes.
entrepreneurship to you? And what's the importance of the entrepreneurial mindset?
So I grew up in a family of 3 mothers. They were sisters, and each one of them had an entrepreneurial activity that was ongoing. At home, we made magwinya. We woke
Yes.
up at 4 a.m. to bake magwinya and get them ready for school kids that were going to school. My other aunt made mince pies,
Whoa.
and my mom made soft buns. So at that point, I did not know that was entrepreneurship. But when I look back, entrepreneurship and resilience was built into me at a very young age, to wake up at 4 a.m., to go and prepare dough and start a fire and start baking.
Yes.
That's entrepreneurship. That's teaching entrepreneurship. And that is a level of entrepreneurship that we want to create awareness to young people around the country, to say, there are many opportunities. Look around you, look around your community. What problems are there in your community that you can solve? Look at how you can solve them and make money. And not only are you now solving a problem in your community, you're also building a healthy community within you for everybody to thrive. So entrepreneurship is not the big word where you go and do a discovery of a new invention. It is great to do that.
Yes, we wish you that and lots of money.
And lots of money. But just finding something entrepreneurial or an economic activity for yourself. There's a young boy in Limpopo who started selling biltong at school after going through one of our programs. And it's his thriving business. He does it all the time. He now knows how to have his own money and how to handle his own money, because he's done financial literacy. He knows that he can't just use all that money. He has to save some of it for stock and for whatever else that he would like to have later on in life.
And you use the word build, and I love that because that's exactly part of the theme of global entrepreneurship this year, which is together we build. Let's talk about that. What do you get out of a theme like that, and why do you think it's important?
So I think this theme is important and aligns to what Junior Achievement South Africa does, because for us it is to build, to allow young people to build ideas, to innovate, and to come up with pathways that they can take for themselves without waiting for somebody to open up. We build skills. We empower them with skills that they can go and start something or go and be a better employee for somebody. And that's why this theme aligns with Junior Achievement's objective of building young people who will thrive in any economy.
And that, to me, also speaks to working together, and also speaks to me about using these skills, entrepreneurial skills, wherever you are. Just because you you learn certain things from entrepreneurship doesn't mean you have to be an entrepreneur for the rest of your life, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And when we also look at how to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset, how do you think Junior Achievement South Africa does that through its teachings?
Okay. So at Junior Achievement, we follow a methodology, a model that we call experiential learning. Every young person who goes through a Junior Achievement program will at some point start something and build on it and see it to a point where it becomes an economic activity for them. Ideate on a business, do a prototype, start it, and sell and see how that business or that product fits into the market. And that is where they get to experience the real life of a business person, of an entrepreneur. They get to taste what it is to go out and ask people if they would like your product, if this product is going to work in their environment. And they come back and it teaches them resilience, because sometimes they go out and they come back and people have said, no way, that's not something that is real. Either they have to rethink or they have to believe in themselves and say, actually, we do know that this is going to work. So not only do we just give them the skills, we give them the confidence in themselves to take up opportunity as well, even where other people don't see that opportunity.
Do you know what I love about this experiential learning that Junior Achievement South Africa does, and also fits into maybe the idea that some people have about entrepreneurship? I think a lot of people think when you're an entrepreneur, you have the whole plan, you have it together, and you don't fail. But meanwhile, when you are in it, you realize that, okay, no, this isn't going well, but you don't quit. You just redirect and you relearn and you do and you keep on going. Isn't it important to fail and learn and grow as an entrepreneur?
It's absolutely important, Sia. I wanted to give you an example of a young man that I met who went through our social equity program. And they had to pitch their idea, their business idea, the next morning. They sat together to refine their presentation. They looked at it and they said, no, this is not going to get us anywhere. Even to us, this business idea doesn't make sense anymore. And overnight, they set up and came up with a pitch, and they won the competition for that pitch because they didn't give up. They restarted when they realized that failure is here and in front of us now. Let's find something else. That's what life is about. It's not even business. You pick yourself up and try again. So entrepreneurship education teaches you to have that resilience, to be able to pick yourself up and start again over and over and over. Entrepreneurship is not easy.
Definitely not.
It's not cushioned by anything. It's you and the world and your business. So...
And if we looked into so many entrepreneurs that we admire, we'd probably find out that they've failed more than they've succeeded.
They have failed more than they have succeeded. So the programs that we do in high school, we actually create not only just entrepreneurs, we create better employees of the future, because they can immediately see a problem and come up with ideas of how to solve it. If things get tough, they don't give up. They trudge along, they find ways, they find pathways that they can solve these problems and carry on. And so entrepreneurship is more than just, an entrepreneurial mindset is more than just thinking I'm going to be an entrepreneur in the future. It instills discipline, of problem solving, of innovation, of resilience into each one. But most of all, it gives a child the confidence that I can stand anywhere and take up any opportunity that's presented to me or not presented that I see for myself.
Yes, amazing. So 2 last things from my side. One of them being, you've mentioned the social equity program. Can you talk a little more about some of the programs that JA South Africa has on offer for young people who are watching, who are interested, who say, you know what, this is something that I want to do?
Okay. So in schools, we start our work in primary school between grade 6 and 7. We do a program called More Than Money. It is a financial literacy program whilst we teach young people about how to handle money, what money is, how to handle it, how to have a healthy relationship with money, with credit, we also start planting the idea of you can make your own money, you can wash your neighbor's car and have pocket money. In grade 8 and 9, we have a program that we call Be Entrepreneurial. And in that program, we start introducing young people to business terminology and business skills. And again, we end that program with an entrepreneurship, a day where they sell whatever they want to sell at school. And the amazing thing about that is half of them will say we'll have the same product. And on the day they realize that I've got competition and I need to figure out how to make myself sell out before everybody else.
You have Amakip, I have Amakip. What are we doing now?
Yes. And then we have our signature program in high school called the Company Program. In this program, we literally instill entrepreneurship in young people. They start from ideating on a theme. So this year, our theme that is embraced by JA Worldwide, or Junior Achievement Worldwide, is Action for Climate Transformation.
Very relevant.
Young people have to come up with business ideas that are aligned with that theme. And we've just had our competition. So they start from ideating, they do a market research, they start doing a prototype, they fail, they try again, we take them to an innovation hub to go and get some help with what they are trying to make. But eventually they come up with a product that they sell, and they then join the provincial competitions. We run this program across the country, and the winners of the provincial competition come to national competitions. And the winner of the national competition goes and represents South Africa in the Africa region competition. This year, in the first week of December, a team from Mpumalanga is going to Nigeria, Abuja, to represent South Africa. Just the journey that the young people go through to get to that point is unimaginable. The growth that they go through as persons, you see their confidence rising through, and you see them being able to stand on stages that they would not have stood on before. And it is absolutely amazing to see that journey.
Yeah. Listen, I'm learning a lot, and I know that you are as well. Please do share your comments, your questions with us. You can use the hashtag JAGEW 2025. Easy to remember, right? Hashtag JA for Junior Achievement, GEW for Global Entrepreneurship Week, and 2025. Share your questions, your comments, and follow our Junior Achievement South Africa pages. Use that hashtag. Tell us what you are loving about this conversation, and you get a chance to win some incredible prizes. I'll have to say, we'll be announcing that winner on social media on the next few days. The last question for me to you, Ms. Nello. We've spoken a lot around young people who are in school right now.
Yes.
What does Junior Achievement South Africa do for young people outside of school?
So we've got programs for out-of-school youth, mainly those that are not in education or in employment. And the one program is called the Youth Enterprise Program. We invite young people who want to start businesses to join the program. We take them through what business is all about, and they, at the same time as they're going through the theory in class, they go out and ideate as well.
Very important.
And we are very clear or intentional in the Youth Enterprise Program. They must start businesses that will work within their communities.
Lovely.
So, and we then take them to a local business that has been there for years, that has survived, for that entrepreneur or business person to share their journey. And then they have a mentor who they in their own community, who they can engage with as they go through challenges. We help them register their business, and they go through this in a 6-month period. At the end of that journey, those that want to continue with their businesses, we get them mentors and we put them through an accelerator program. And we do this in very small groups of about 50 young people because we're intentional about the attention that we want to give to each person in the program. We've got a bigger program called the Social Equity Program. That one is a boot camp. In a week, we take young people through what business is. We take them through a digital program called JA Deep. It's an internal program that has been developed by JA for its own entrepreneurs. So we take them through that program, and at the end of the week, in groups of 10, they must come up with business ideas and pitch their ideas. You will be surprised at how many businesses have been catalyzed through that program. Young people have been inspired to go and start businesses. We've got a young man in Soweto right now who's manufacturing candles. His revenue is over $1 million.
Over just candles. You might look at that and think,
over just candles. I went to Katlehong in our last program, and there was a group of young ladies who had started making jewelry. And this was beautiful jewelry. But they needed somebody to come and just help them come together, build their confidence, and give them the skill that they needed. So those are the two main programs that we do for out of school.
Fantastic.
That we are introducing this year online programs that we will be running, and so make them more accessible, make digital programs more accessible to everybody.
And absolutely even more relevant than ever before. Ms. Nello, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I know you have 40,000 things to do, including, just overseeing some people going to Nigeria. You heard that. There's nothing small about the incredible impact that Junior Achievement South Africa does. More than that as well, the impact of entrepreneurship. So our Global Entrepreneurship Week live stream conversation continues after this. You heard Ms. Nello, the Executive Director of Junior Achievement South Africa, talk a little about some of the programs that they have and they run as an organization, including the Company of the Year program. Take a look at this. Incredible stuff, isn't it? As I said, we are having a fascinating conversation all around entrepreneurship in honor of Global Entrepreneurship Week. If you've just tuned in, well, welcome to the party. You have been missing out, okay? But luckily for you, this is a live stream. So how about you tell a friend to share the link, to follow Junior Achievement South Africa and join in on the fun. You can also use our official hashtag for the day and for this incredible time. Hashtag JAGEW 2025 to share your comments and your questions. And also, as our Global Entrepreneurship Week conversation shifts, to shine the spotlight on more incredible people who are doing the groundwork and seeing the real life impact of entrepreneurship. My name is Sia Sangweni, very, very thrilled to be moderating this conversation and welcoming now our very, very esteemed panel. Let me tell you, y'all are busy. I don't know how you've made time to meet and to have conversations with us today in honor of Global Entrepreneurship Week. Let me start off with you, Ms. Akani. Please do introduce yourself and the work that you do.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Sia, for having me. My name is Akani Mgansi, and I work as a programs coordinator for the Social Equity Program at Junior Achievement South Africa.
So that means you are doing 40,000 things all at once, but an incredible results.
More than a 40,000, and it feels so good.
40,001, because you're here with us today.
Yes.
Ms. Pearl, please introduce yourself.
Hi, so I'm Pearl Pillay. I am a commissioner at the National Planning Commission, and my work is focused on youth, and I also run an organization called Youth Lab, which is a group that works to mainstream youth development and youth participation in community work.
Awesome. And last but definitely not least, Ms. Michelle.
Lovely to meet you, Sia. So my name is Michelle, and I co-own a company called Moscrip, which is a manufacturing company based out in South Africa. We manufacture homemade products made from recycled or sustainable material. And I also co-own another business called the Soul Sneaker Laundry. And here it's basically a sneaker laundry that just focuses on washing shoes, repairing shoes, and also restoration.
Goodness, you have your elevator pitch down. That was 10 seconds and you did it quickly. Let me start off with you, Ms. Akani. It is a big question to ask, but I asked it of Ms. Nello earlier as well. What does entrepreneurship mean to you?
I think entrepreneurship means that as a young person, you understand that you are a catalyst of change in your community. And the change in our community also depends on your contribution. And it's something that we see happen a lot in our programs. As a coordinator for the Social Equity Program, I've seen young people that come in our program and they are disheartened because unemployment is very high and it affects them every day. And when they come through the program, you see that they're eager to learn. Mm-hmm. They are willing to change, not just their community, but their backgrounds as well. So when they join the Social Equity Program or any other JA program, you see that there's a willingness to start something of their own because they understand that it is their responsibility to change where they come from. So entrepreneurship means for me that you need to first change how you think, see the possibility with or without the resources to get started, and start from there. Start with what you have and take it from there.
Right. Yeah. Pearl, we hear a lot about the real challenges that we face in South Africa, especially as young people. Do you believe entrepreneurship is that solution to a lot of the problems we face?
No,
okay,
it's one
why?
of the solutions, right? I think one of the mistakes we make when we talk about entrepreneurship as kind of the main and greatest solution is that we forget how difficult entrepreneurship actually is. And we're here with experts, right? Our statistics in South Africa tell us that 75% of businesses fail within the first 3 years.
Let's just have that again. One more time.
75% of new businesses fail in the first 3 years.
Wow.
So to make it to the 5-year mark, you're 1 in 4 businesses. Entrepreneurship is a skill, right?
In this room, only one of us.
Only one of us is going to make it. 3 of us are going to be finding a job by the end of those first 3 years, right? And that's the reality of what it means to do business, because it's not, entrepreneurship is not something where you can wake up and go, well, I need a job, I'm just going to go start a business, right? That's not how it works. And I think when we talk about entrepreneurship as the solution, we ignore the difficulties. And what happens then is young people start to feel like they're doing something wrong, right? Because how is it that this thing that's supposed to be this big solution is not working for them, right? So it's part of, I always think about when we consider growing the economy and building livelihoods, we think about gears, right? And they all kind of lock together. Entrepreneurship is one of those gears, right, that you use to unlock economic opportunities, but it's definitely not the only solution. I think when we talk about entrepreneurship as a solution, we have to speak about it in tandem with what is the environment we have for entrepreneurship to flourish? Are young people specifically supported to learn how to do business, right? But also the kind of soft skills, the resilience you need for entrepreneurship, the innovation, being able to deal with rejection, right? Those are things that we don't often teach. And so my worry around our narratives about entrepreneurship is we assume that everybody can just do it tomorrow. And that's not the case. But if we do it right, it definitely is one of the most important gears to kind of unlock growing the economy.
Okay. Well, Michelle, do you feel like you were supported? Do you feel like you had an environment that allowed you to be the entrepreneur that you are today?
I like how Pearl mentioned that entrepreneurship is a skill, because it truly takes a lot for you to actually make it. I remember in our early stages when we started the business, we first of all did not know anything about investment funding, and we thought that the savings that we had would be enough to take us through. Little did we know that the savings were just enough to get us through our personal lives, like paying rent and just living a day to day. And so in the early stages, I'd say that support really just came from friends and family. It was very hard to come by, but that also comes with the fact that we did not know much, but there was a lot of resilience. And I think more than, I can mention a lot of support that we've received, that we've then ended up knowing, down the line. We've taken advantage of competitions, ESD programs that, private organizations have.
Yeah.
However, I think a lot of that really just came from resilience that we have as entrepreneurs, because we faced so many challenges. And right now, 6 years into the business, we still face many challenges on a daily basis that you have to get through. So I love how she mentioned that entrepreneurship is not an easy thing that you can just do. You can just do it, but then being able to remain and making sure that the business has continuity, that takes a lot, and it's not easy. And I really believe that it really takes a certain type of person to be able to get through, to the next stage, because entrepreneurship is stages. Growth comes with its own challenges as well.
Yeah.
So I think in general, looking at the South African economy, I always say that it's so difficult for businesses to really make it. When you look at businesses internationally, let's just take the USA as an example. The kind of investment sizes that these businesses get, they get millions of dollars in investment. And when you get that kind of size, you're able to really just propel and grow your business as fast as possible. Whereas in South Africa, I find that the kind of support that we get, whether it's private or through government, it's very limited. And we can look at like 5 million and think that's a lot. You can really go far. But if you really want to build a business that can be like, an international global business, just as Moscrip is, it really will require more than just 5 million. And it's not to say that we are not grateful for the kind of, amount and investment opportunities that are there, but it's just looking at what is really needed to take a business forward. And I think, there's a lot that comes with it. So yes, support, is there, but it really takes a lot. You really have to be skilled to be an entrepreneur.
So entrepreneurship certainly isn't the easiest thing in the world. There are a lot of challenges and complexities to it. But what I also believe in is that if you start where you are, start with what you have, you can be able to build something extraordinary. Akani, what have you seen through the JA South Africa, the Junior Achievement South Africa journey around where young people begin and the seeds that they've planted that have grown and taken them to extraordinary places?
Thank you so much, Sia. So we have quite a few beautiful stories from our programs of young people that started where they were with what they had. So we have a young lady that joined a social equity program in Tembisa. And at that time, she was going through resignation. She had just lost her job, so she didn't have any means of income. So she joined the program with the hope that it's going to instill, the fire to start something of her own, because it's something that she has always wanted to do. And when she joined the program, after the 4 days, she then thought, okay, I think I've gained enough skills and information to get started.
Yeah.
So where do I get started?
Yeah.
You know, the JA program has given me enough skills. I know how to draft a business plan. I know how to identify a gap in the market. I know the products that are relevant in my community. I know what the customers are looking for. So she has done proper market research, which is a skill that we offer in our programs. Then once she has gone through all of that research, then she thought, okay, now I know what the people in my community want. She then started a small farming project because there were not enough businesses that were producing fresh organic vegetables. That's where she started. Then from there she realized, okay, there's a need for party planners. She went into that. Then after that, she realized, okay, young people actually want to start businesses in my community, but they don't know where to start. You know, they don't have the resources that I managed to get from the JA program that I attended. And she went through a business coaching course.
Wow.
And she's now coaching other young people like herself in the community that want to start a business, but they don't know where to start. They don't have the necessary skills or mindset to allow them to get started. So I think it's quite important for young people to get mentorship. So that they know where to start. And with the guidance of Miss Michelle, people that are successful in the space, then it makes it a lot easier for them to get guidance on how and what they need to get started on their business journeys.
Yeah. Pearl, you mentioned earlier around or about how entrepreneurship is a skill. What do you think, in the seats that you sit in and your various positions, what do you think makes a great entrepreneur? What are some of those tools that one needs?
Interesting question. I think the one thing is the why behind entrepreneurship, right? So one of the things we know from research is that most young businesses in South Africa start out of the need for subsistence, right? No one is working at home. You need to make money. And so you're starting a business not necessarily because you're passionate about entrepreneurship and you want to, create multinational companies, but it might actually just be because you need to put food on the table. What is required of that kind of entrepreneur versus what is required of an entrepreneur who actually just has a passion for business and, business savvy and wants to build something is very different. I think the things that are common, we've spoken about the sense of resilience, the idea of valuing the skills that you have, right? Like you said, when you start a business, starting with what you have means looking at all of the little things that you might not consider a skill, right? Being able to switch from farming to party planning is not a thing that many people can do, but it means that person is resourceful, they're innovative. That's a good entrepreneur, someone who can pivot, someone who can adapt, who can take rejection, who can know the money that we have, our savings account is going to be emptied in the next 3 months, but we're going to keep going, right? That's the mark of, I think, a good entrepreneur, but also someone who understands that they don't know what they don't know. And part of, I think, the entrepreneurship ecosystem that we have is that it's something that constantly changes, right? What entrepreneurship looks like pre-COVID, during COVID, now post-COVID is completely different. And the ability to understand that you don't actually know everything, you don't have all the skills, you don't have all the social connections, and continuously seeking out opportunities to grow and to learn. There's so many free courses, there's so many programs like JASA where you can better yourself, right? And I think that's the mark of good entrepreneurship, is understanding that I don't know what I don't know. There's always more for me to learn. I need to be able to inculcate soft skills like resilience, like patience, right? Work ethic. That's what makes a good entrepreneur, not necessarily someone who can, talk to big investors or can do good PowerPoint presentations, right? It's the softer things of being able to deal with the hard parts of entrepreneurship. I think that might make someone a bit more successful. And then, living in a country that is friendly for entrepreneurs also might go a long way.
I think you can have more to say about that later. Michelle, so what was your why?
You know what? My story is very interesting because I actually have 3 degrees. So I studied.
Excuse me now?
Yes, I do.
Whoa.
She said,
I
don't know
have a
about
background.
Yeah, Not one, not two, but three.
But
okay.
three, okay?
Yes.
And one of those is the masters that I got at the University of Bern in Switzerland in international trade law and economics. And prior to that, I was actually doing, agriculture economics. So that's my background.
Amazing.
But however,
I don't even know what agriculture economics is. What is that?
You know what? Agriculture economics, so it's essentially we're not going to be on the farm. So we are basically telling farmers how the economic landscape can affect their farming operations. All right? How the rand can affect their operations. When is it the right time to, sell? Do you need to sell or store your maize? Do you need to wait for the right time? So essentially that's what the tariffs, how that's going to affect them,
So
etc.
you are not old MacDonald on the farm.
No.
But you know
Yes.
you know how many cows old MacDonald has on
Absolutely.
the farm.
Perfect trade economist.
Okay. Yes.
Exactly. And so I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I grew up in an entrepreneurial home. My dad was in entrepreneurship. My mom, even though she was a nurse, she did dabble in entrepreneurship as well. And it's something that my sister and I've always wanted to do, but we just did not know in what channel it's going to happen. And so we just, we started off selling at a market, and this is very important for people listening to understand that you can really start so small. Yeah. We started as a market. My sister was making craft. She's a natural born artist. So she was making craft from origami, which is a Japanese art form of folding paper. And that craft, she then saw an opportunity to sell it at the market, and I joined her, coming in as a logistics partner, and that partnership went from us selling at markets to then developing other products that were environmentally friendly, sustainable, selling them, continuing at the market, just doing it for fun. Because if I had a corporate job, which was very comfortable, I was working as an economist. My sister also had a very good job in HR. And what emerged at that market was that, people wanted something that was, ethically made, sustainable, because we grew up in a world where it's now becoming all about mass production. There's just so much consumerism, and people wanted to feel like they're making a difference when they're actually buying something. And that's how essentially we started. So we started from markets to now supplying, Woolworths, Mr. Price Home, at home. We are one of the largest exporters of craft, exporting to countries such as the USA, Canada, the Philippines, Peru, etc. And so our why now, when I look back at it, is the fact that whenever we went into the retail stores, we used to see that a lot of the products that was being sold in the retail stores were either from India or, some Asian country. And we know that we are growing up in Africa where there's just so much craft. But these beautiful baskets that look similar to what we then make here in South Africa are not to be seen here in the stores. And so we wanted to be able to make a difference to, selling some locally made products, but also being a player in the, in the trade economy. So being able to then export our products, which is what we do. And another thing is being able to create an impact. So environmental impact, and this is through our recycled products that we do, or the environmentally non-invasive products that we make, and also social impact. So in our company, we put people over profits. We have a wellness initiative where we give our employees free breakfast and lunch every single day. Wow. They get a 50% transport commute for their daily commute to work. We have a Wellness Friday, which is every last Friday of the month. They get a day off because we recognize them not just as packers or an accountant, etc., but that there are sisters, mothers, or people that just have to make, a difference in their own families. Our artisans get free lodging, and we also have a wellness clinic where they can actually go if they're not feeling well, because we are trying to now bridge the access to medical health, because there's people that live in places like Mamelodi where, access to health might be difficult. You go to a clinic and you wait long hours in a queue to get assistance. So we've been able to really just bridge that. So that's essentially why we do what we do, and we've been able to really remain true to those values from the day that we started the business up until today. We have investors today that are saying, but this is a very expensive cost item. But you're like, well, this is who we are. It's an important one. And something that we want to keep. So essentially that's my why.
Amazing. So a little earlier, Agani, we were chatting around, and I made the example of my cousin who transports kids to and from school. I spoke about my aunt who bakes amakwini and bakes scones as well. And we have Michelle, and we've been chatting about these different examples of what entrepreneurship can look like. What I also find, even just using this example of my aunt and my cousin, they will be the same kind of people who will pick up kids at school and they'll go, and then jump into my car, fine, it's fine, I'll take you. Meanwhile, that is not a paying customer. Yeah. Or my aunt will not close the door to someone hungry. You know, as beautiful as that is, that does make an impact to the business bottom line. And what does that mean in terms of stock? And what does that mean in general in terms of learning? So how is JA South Africa equipping especially young people to say, your heart may be in the great place, you might have this wonderful idea, but does it make business sense? How are you doing that in your programs and in your experience?
Okay, so we have quite a few programs that look at financial literacy, because I guess that would speak to the money part of the of running a business. But we also look at innovation a lot, because that speaks to the relevance of a business idea. It also speaks to the why are you doing it. You know, it also answers, are you covering a gap in your community? Do people really need the service or product that you are offering them? So we have quite a few ways of looking at that. We have the design thinking process, which speaks to the first step of running a business, ideation, to a point where you can prototype. And during the different phases of the design thinking process, you'll see that there is a need for one to do market research. There's a need for one to clearly define the problem that they want to solve in the community.
Yeah.
And the most important part of starting a business definitely is engaging your potential customers and ask all the relevant questions that are going to help you start building a successful business. For example, is it what you are offering them really what they need? Is it something that they can afford based on what you are charging them? Is your target market the people that can actually afford the product or service that you're giving them? If not, then where else can you go? Who else can buy from you? And besides the design thinking process, we also look at financial literacy from a very young age. We start in primary schools with learners as young as those in grade 5, grade 6, and grade 7.
Amazing.
And we teach them how to save. As Ms. Nelo was saying, you know, you start with a pack of sweets, you sell those so that you can gwalisela on your mukero, you know? And how do you save that money so that you can make more money, you know? And young people are usually very excited about it because we look at things like the 5 W's of a business plan, the why, the when, the what, and they then start a mini business plan that will show them how do you get started, how do you draft a business plan, and how do you get started.
Yeah.
Then we also look at market research, which then informs the innovation part of your business. Why are you doing it? Is it really relevant? Does it answer a question or close a gap in the community businesses?
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So as we reach the final stretch of our conversation, we hope you have been engaging with us and enjoying the conversation thus far. If you haven't, you still have our last stretch to do so. Please do engage with us on all of our various Junior Achievement South Africa social media platforms, and also use the hashtag JAGEW 2025. Just by following us and also using that hashtag, of course, you stand the chance to walk away with some amazing prizes, but also additionally, you're getting the opportunity to have some of these great minds answer some of your burning questions. So do so, and we'll be getting to your questions and comments very shortly. But as I throw forward to you, Pearl, you sit in a lot of different positions, or have already, where you get to empower a lot of young people in this entrepreneurial journey, but also where you have to have very tough and frank conversations about maybe this doesn't work, or you need to relook at this. Can you talk about that experience and how important it is to really be honest about the harsh truths about entrepreneurship?
Yeah, you know, I think it's part of the dangers of the way we speak about entrepreneurship in South Africa as the kind of saving grace, right, that's going to grow the economy. Is we've created this impression that everyone can just opt in. And so when people do, and then now you have to be the person to say, well, this idea isn't really as great as you think it is.
Yeah.
Or maybe you need a bit more development, right?
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing for people to accept because, again, people are starting businesses a lot of the time out of desperation, right? I think a lot of what has helped in that process is one, understanding that it might not be the best idea right now, but it doesn't mean that it's a terrible idea in general. It might just mean you need to do a bit of more learning, right? A bit more research, a bit more. So I used to sit on the board of the NYDA, which is the National Youth Development Agency, and we run one of government's largest business funding programs. And what happens in that program is when you apply for funding, if you don't qualify, you don't necessarily get an outright rejection. What might happen is they'll say, actually, you need to do this 3-month business training course. And in that process of you learning, right, you kind of begin to refine your ideas a bit more, and you can understand why that no was a no at the beginning. I think also what helps in those conversations is understanding the importance of mentorship, of putting young people and young businesses in the same room with people who have kind of walked that journey before, right? And having young people who are open to that kind of learning, right? Open to mentorship, open to saying, maybe this person might know a little bit more than me, and this rejection is not a rejection, but an opportunity to grow. I think the last thing is that's helped is this understanding that businesses don't necessarily and shouldn't operate solely as bottom line entities anymore. If your business is located within the context of your community, for example, right, you're addressing some kind of community issue, there's some kind of civic participation or civic give back, that turns no's into yeses very quickly. And so sometimes you might not have the most refined business idea or all of the business skills you need, but because you're located in a community context, you're solving an issue, you're helping people are willing to kind of invest in you a lot more. And so I think for me, maybe as a word of advice for people who have experienced a lot of no's, is to kind of always go back to the community, right? Go back to the place you're located in and see how you're helping build communities, not just build businesses. We're moving towards business funding models that are really looking at solving societal ills through businesses, right? That is such a good opportunity for you to be able to turn that rejection into something more. But the conversation is always difficult to have. And I think especially when you're looking at our unemployment stats, right? And you're trying to tell a young person, well, we've told you that you should be an entrepreneur, but actually maybe you're not an entrepreneur. It's very difficult, but it's also why we need to create more NGOs, more programming that gives young people more options, right? And more pathways. Even entrepreneurship isn't a singular pathway. There's so many different kinds of businesses you can run, different kinds of entrepreneurs you can be. And I think just being able to provide those options and more, I think, conversations that don't just center around we regret to inform you, I think builds more of a community around rejection rather than, this kind of competitive environment that we've created.
So, Michelle, I'm going to ask you a question that's come in from Mbali, who asks, if you were starting a business at 17 today, what would be your first step? Mbali's getting a free MBA from you today, so shout out to her.
Mbali said, well, 3 degrees.
The first step, obviously, I think this one is I don't even want to assume that everybody knows this, but I think the first step is definitely registering your business. You want to be able to really, whatever it is that you can do professionally in your business, and the easiest step would be that registering your business and getting a business account under your business, getting a bank account under your business name.
Okay.
The important thing is making sure that you trade under your business account and not to be trading directly with your personal account so that you don't, blur the lines. And I think... But
it's my money, Michelle.
No, but then, you need to grow your business.
Okay.
You need to grow your business. So discipline is really important, and that's where it begins, right? I think another important thing, making sure that you really have a very good idea. Like how Pearl mentioned, is to say that right now we don't just build a business, make sure that you're actually contributing towards some kind of impact. How I mentioned that we are creating impact in our company, and I think that those are, if you can get those 3 things going, then you're well on your way to start a business. And another important one is that don't overthink it. Just do it. Really it's just go ahead and start it and just do it. It might fail or it might succeed, and what if it does succeed? I would say that that's the first thing. Go ahead and register that business.
I'm also going to throw this one, a question that came in from Spiwe, who asks, how do you find the right people to help you grow your idea? Who can answer that?
I can take that.
Sure.
When we started the business, we did not have a community at all. We it was just my sister and I, and thankful for us, we the two in the business, because sometimes you find sole proprietorships with just one person in the business that can be very difficult. However, right now we find that there are some communities. There are, for instance, JA. South Africa is one of them where you can actually go and they can probably connect you to, mentors, etc. Or joining some organizations, for instance, I know that the government such as CEDA or the NYDA, they actually have programs where you can actually, attend some of the, skills, sessions that they have. And I think there you can meet other entrepreneurs as well. And you can also meet mentors, people who are already in business. And another one, if you feel like maybe you want to actually just go on it mainstream by yourself, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best platform for you to be able to meet entrepreneurs. You can, for instance, Google the owner of, I don't know, I'm going to make myself as an example, Mo's Crib, for instance, send through a message. These days, people are so open to social media that it's not easy that someone can just ignore whatever it is that you're asking. And I would say that instead of young people looking for necessarily mentorship, especially from other fellow entrepreneurs, because you'll find that some entrepreneurs don't have time. They cannot afford you the time. Ask the question immediately. Whatever you want, like for instance, how Mbali asked right now, like ask the question. So when you do send that message, ask the question of whatever it is you want to find, and you'll find that you can then be referred to another person, and that's how you eventually build a network.
So what I'm getting is, Michelle is available. DM her and you'll get some details.
I will respond.
I will respond. It's been a fantastic conversation around global entrepreneurship. And I'll wrap it up in this way. We're celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week, but in South Africa, you'll complete the sentence in one word or one phrase. Akani, the future of South Africa's entrepreneurship is, in one word or one phrase.
Sia, that's a tough one.
I'll come back to you,
These
Pearl.
big questions.
The future of South Africa's entrepreneurship is...
social enterprises.
Okay. You have your answer?
I have my answer now.
Is?
Changing the mindsets of young people.
Amazing.
I know it's a long one, but we need
in
to
one
change the
phrase, at least it
mindset.
counts.
Yes.
I think creating impact.
Amazing.
Yes.
Michelle, thank you so much. Pearl, thank you so much. Akani, thank you so much.
Thank
To the Junior Achievement South Africa's Executive Director, Ms. Nelo Pindile-Spies, thank you as well for your time. And also thank you for spending this hour with us. We see the questions and the comments. Shout out to Mpumalanga. We see that you were watching. Some folks in Eastern Cape, shout out to you. Thank you very much for being part of this conversation as well. This conversation is certainly far from over. The live stream may be ending, but the conversation continues. Continue using the hashtag JAGEW2025 and also continue engaging with Junior Achievement South Africa on all social media platforms. To you, our future incredible entrepreneur, we as our conversation today and as Junior Achievement South Africa wish you nothing but the best. My name is Sia Sangweni, and until we meet again, see ya. Get it!